They make this fucking hot plate. It gets hot enough that it melted the fucking knob off of here. Like, you can't even touch the fucking base of it. You'd think they'd make this shit out of something that fucking didn't melt. Like the paint even look at that shit. The fucking paint melted off of it.
The funny thing about it is that it doesn't say on there, it doesn't have the little hands with the cross symbol through it. I bet if you burned yourself with that really good.
If you're stupid enough to burn yourself with this, you deserve fucking... If you're dumb enough to burn yourself with this, then... And you try to sue Farberware, Farberware should be able to own your ass. Like, you should have to get Farberware tattoos, you have to go work for them. If you're stupid enough to try to sue a company because you fucking were dumb enough to burn yourself with it. Like that fucking old bitch in McDonald's. That was not on.
Oh, I was like, I think the buttons are mushy.
They're melting. The fucking the LED lenses are melting.
Starting to get mushy.
Piece of shit.
Who's that?
Victor, section 1776. A dude who was here for alumni came by. He missed us and left a shirt, and I think he left a patch or something.
Oh, that's cool, man.
I just like the silver with the red. I didn't know what it was. I looked it up. It's kind of like Patriotic apparel. Mm-hmm. They've got. He likes Rogue or does something with Rogue. Maybe he's got a shitload of Rogue gym equipment on his Instagram pictures. A lot of shirts you would like. Mm-hmm. Patches, you know, patriotic shit. It's they got some cool stuff, so check them out. I don't know who it is. He was here for alumni. I dropped the shirt off. Like I said, we missed him. I threw it on. I like the cut of it. I like the colors. And I checked this website. He's got a Facebook, section 1776. So check him out. He's got some cool shit. Order some shit from him if you want. What were you talking about? We were talking about just a few minutes ago about the
flag
division. Yeah, the division. Let's start with that.
Yeah. Well, we were just in the media right now. Me and John noticed yesterday is a lot of stuff on the news that wasn't pertaining to like what I would call more pertinent
like
topics.
Real news.
Yeah, like we were watching stuff that we weren't watching it. They were forcing us to watch. Like, there was like stuff about Bill Cosby on C-SPAN and stuff, which...
Oh, at the gym.
Yeah, I could really give a shit less about who anyone in this world has done or will do or wants to do.
And wouldn't the statute of limitations be up on that shit by now?
Who knows, man? Who knows about... I don't even know when they're talking about it. I'm so uninterested in that, I know nothing about it. Even though it's been on every channel for the past
Bill
week.
Cosby looks like he's had a stroke. Like, that man's gonna fucking die.
He's super old.
Yeah.
But, what we were talking about was it was funny we were seeing all that and
there ain't shit in the news about the fucking Marines that were shot.
Marines aren't being talked about anymore. Marcus Luttrell posted on his Facebook page. He said, "Excuse me, sir, but you forgot to fly half-mast for
right. But we can fly half-mast for Whitney Houston."
Yeah. But like
same with Chris Kyle.
He's got a lot of people talking about it, like people with like actual reach and stuff like that, and we were talking about, you know, I thought it was like funny with the flag thing. The rebel flag getting, you know, saying that we should take it down. I don't know if it was as much of someone thought we should take it down or to see if everyone knows the election's coming, the political stir is coming. They're stirring the pot.
Divide the populace a little more.
So you had all these people that like rebel flags flying them. Maybe it was to see if we can get people stirred up who some like it, some don't. And I mean, it could have very easily happened. I'm really glad to see that. I've seen on plenty of Facebook posts, there's groups of black people flying it too. And it doesn't look like it's caused any type of rioting or anything like that. And if it has, they're not televising it. And the fact that it hasn't, they're not televising it either. They would just post about it. But just that seemed like a kind of an odd thing to happen. And then with the Marine thing happening, you got a lot of people stirred up and thinking that we should defend our home turf, which we should be able to do. But you got a lot of people showing up at recruiting offices.
You got a bunch of fucking
guns.
dipshits.
It just, yeah, and like I think some of them mean, I'm sure everyone means well. And like, I know a couple of the news reports were saying, oh, these are retired Marines actually sitting outside. The Marines came out of the facility and we're talking to them and sitting down and stuff. But it's still, the media's giving it enough attention. I think they're waiting for a problem.
I think they're stirring. It's division of us. It's us against them. It's can they make us fight amongst ourselves, upper class, lower class, blacks against white. That's just how it always is. That's the fucking news media. It's pulling the strings to manipulate the situation. Look at this over here, don't look at this. It was Ebola, and then it was fucking smallpox, and then it was fucking measles, and it was fucking one right after the other, and then it's always something. It's other than what is actually at hand, other than what's important. And it's so I was listening to, I don't remember where I was hearing it the other day, and somebody made a good point. The media, the news is going away. Like with social media now, newsprint and television news is dying. So they have to do the crazy shit. They have to do the Jerry Springer shit to grab your attention. They're dying. It's just a matter of when they're going to die and when it's going to go away. So they show all that crazy shit. But they were also saying like 80% of the news in the United States is owned by the royal Saudi family. It's owned by offshore entities that own all of our news outlets. And all 80% of our news outlets are owned by 1 or 2 or 3 companies. The majority of that is owned by offshore holdings. So they kind of can, you know, they report what they want. They can make things look how they want them to look. Conspiracy theory, you know, you got all these dudes standing out front of the recruit depots. On Facebook, there's a bunch of pictures of these dudes standing out there with these AR pistols and shit, and carbines and SBRs with no sights, no optics, nothing. So the first time one of those guys cracks one off or has an ND, it's going to be, you know, oh well, we can't have that. Guns, yeah. And what about, isn't that a no gun zone? Isn't that a gun-free zone? How's that going to work? Yeah. So you've got all these dudes stirred up. You've got everybody up in arms.
I think it's exactly what
I think that's exactly what they want to happen.
It was they're pulling emotional strings, you know, which is absolutely terrible to think about. You know, like the way I think that's like when you watch like V for Vendetta or something like that. Yeah. You know, they're creating news. They're creating a problem to make the country feel that it either needs or doesn't need the government, to shoo out the ones who, you know, flush people out that need to be taken care of, and it's crazy to watch on the news if you really were to look into it and kind of think about it for a minute. And you know, as Mallory was saying, was like, you know, the political racists are going, like they've got everyone stirred up because they've got their big thing going on right now, so they're trying to get people choosing sides on political ballots and who stands for this, who stands for that.
I say this over and over, and you know, it's not to take away from Glenn Tate, 299 Days, you know, we know that dude. David Crawford wrote Lights Out, friend of ours. I'm quoted on the back of that book, friend of the family. But there's another set of books written by a man named Matthew Bracken, and I don't know Matthew Bracken. I've never met him. I believe he's an intel officer in the SEAL teams. He wrote a book called Enemies, Foreign and Domestic. And then there's a second book called Domestic or Foreign Enemies, and then there's a third one called Domestic Enemies. There's a fourth one. I don't know if it's out yet or not. I know James had spoke with him and tech advised. I think he came out and took a class here. The third book took place mostly in western Tennessee. Literally, it could have been Benton County, like the descriptors of it and stuff. Benton County is very big. It runs all the way down to the river. But a lot of the things that are playing out, a lot of that shit is in those books. And those books were written in the late 90s, early 2000s. And it's almost like he looked forward into time. There's a lot of shit in those books that's coming to fruition right now. And I believe if you look at Matthew Bracken's Facebook page, you can find all that. You can get those books. I believe they're for download audiobooks. You can get them on Kindle. I've got the actual hard copies of them. I've read them. If you're into kind of the conspiracy theory, survival, preparedness kind of fiction stuff, it's definitely a good read. I don't read at all. I just don't have time to. If I fucking lay down and start reading, 10 minutes later I fall asleep. It takes me forever to read anything. I read all those books. They just held my attention. But there's a lot of shit in those books that'll it'll just make the hair on your arms raise, because a lot of that shit is happening and playing out. It's almost like it was used as a textbook. And you're going to see some crazy shit happen. there was a lot of things they said couldn't be done when Obama took office. A lot of things they said that there's no way that could happen. Those laws could never be passed. They're illegal. And he's done, I heard 80%, they said. He's done 80% of what they said he couldn't do already. He's got a little more time to do a lot more shit. And all the big things, I think they're coming. You're starting to see it play out right now.
Yeah. It's funny because people, you know, we watch movies all the time that are about politics and
well, your
countries and stuff like that.
fancy books and shit.
Yeah, like any of that stuff, but like it's funny because it's really, if you watch just actual news, like it's all pretty much happening all the time. I mean, I guess, I don't know if that's what you call human nature, because all governments go through rises and falls and ups and downs and flim-flams on people thinking this thing or thinking that thing, and it's just human nature. Too much power in the hands of people always ends up getting corrupt or changing hands or being used for bad at some point.
Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Like, do you really think going to vote, do you really think that your vote has anything to do with who's going to be the next president?
There's an awful lot of people that have more to do with it than the public.
Every time I say that, somebody says, man, you have such a reach and you're dissuading people from going and voting and you're doing a disservice. But if I didn't believe that, I wouldn't say that. Like, if you want to vote and have a say in something that actually happens, vote on your local level. Vote on, you know, who you send to office, who you send to Washington, D.C. And then you might be able to manipulate that and have a say in that. But as far as who's going to be the next president, they already fucking know who the next president's going to be. And it doesn't have anything to do with what fucking ballot you cast.
It's crazy. Politics is a fucking... It's like the rabbit hole in damn Alice in Wonderland. You just don't know how far it goes.
Well, what's that show with Kevin Spacey?
House of Cards?
Do you think for 1 second it's not exactly like that?
That's a scary one to think about, because man, that's some crazy shit. A lot of shit goes on just to further themselves in there. But in the realm of speaking, like that's probably not far from the...
Same with the unions and the base closures and, you know, all that shit. You think that's not real?
Yeah, something inspired those movies and stories.
So it just goes back to, you know, they want us to spend time thinking about that. They want us to spend time talking about that. They want us to spend time worrying about that. When you do that, you're not worrying about your immediate circle of influence and the people around you and your, you know, just the things you can change. So you're not worried about producing your own food, living your own life, taking care of you and your own. You're worried about the bigger picture. So therefore, you need them. They want more people on the system. They want you to rely on them. They want you to take loans. They want you to have debt. They want you to have to go to the grocery store to get your food. The last fucking thing they want is you not to have to buy their food. They don't want you self-sufficient. Shit, look at these dudes building houses and shit. Didn't they just have they were a Marine somewhere, built a tiny house, and they were locking his shit down because he wasn't on the septic system or he wasn't on their electrical or something?
I know.
Yeah, they were evicting him from his home.
Huh.
I don't know all the details on it. I saw it on Facebook. I heard Jack Spirko mention it.
The one good thing I saw out of it, I was telling them, was at least with the flag thing and the gun thing, I already hit the flag thing, was I have seen in a lot of the gun pictures of people standing outside of these places that are kind of up in arms about what's going on, is it was like white, black, Hispanic, like everyone in a line together, and like if we're gonna get up in arms about it, at least do it as a united country, because that is how it was supposed to be. Because in the realm of like what we actually are is just individuals. It really doesn't matter what race you come from or what background you come from. We all still live here, and so if we live, it was like he was saying, your immediate circle of friends. If you can help the dude next to you that's always around you, he'll help you when you need it. And if it spreads on from that point, then think about how big that group of people is after that point. It doesn't just have to be a smaller circle. You all work together in the realm of things, and it turns into a much bigger circle of people that can lean on each other. And at least we've seen that from this. Like, I hate to see people stand out front of those places, because I feel like if an accident happens, they're going to have the finger pointed at them, but at least they're doing it together. But that's just been what's all over Facebook, all over the news. So they're obviously wanting us to talk about it, so I guess we just made their day. Assholes.
There's a fucking, I think there's a mess coming.
No.
There's a storm a brewing.
She's coming.
See that plate?
You're rolling around the bend. I ain't seen the sun, so I don't know when. Johnny Cash. Hell yeah. Well, now what? Now that you've cleaned your plate.
I ate all of it.
I know. Are you hungry?
No. Nope.
That's dedication.
I just doctored it up with that salsa.
Well, you shouldn't use cheese.
Tomorrow I'll eat that salsa and I'll be like, man, I don't want this salsa.
You gotta change it up. A little bit of cheese, a little bit of sriracha, a little bit of salsa. If you alternate those, throw in some bacon.
We got a bunch of shirts here. I guess I'll go past everybody got.
Divvy them out.
Go
Yeah.
get the surplus out.
Thank you for all the shirts, everybody. It's funny because I didn't get it whenever I first started working here. John was like, I have so many shirts. Like, I'm so glad people send them. And they send them in different sizes. That way, you know, you can give them to workers. But, like, within a day, if a couple people send shirts and they each send 2 of each size, you've got 40 shirts that you have to go dole out all of a sudden.
Well, we got a guy that's working here that came from the East Coast. He's working in a copper mine or a copper place, like, and his clothes were very fucked up.
Yeah.
And he had huge stains from working with the copper, and he didn't have a bunch of shit. And with you guys sending, you know, clothes and stuff, and we would have done it anyways. Like, we would have went and bought him clothing. We do that a lot. We'll have kids come in that are working here and they just don't have a lot of shit, so we'll go and, you know, buy them a dozen shirts and a couple pairs of pants and some shoes and shit, because they stand here all the time. If they're comfortable, then they'll work. You know, it'll be easier for them to work. But with you guys sending those shirts in, we do appreciate it. You're definitely represented by that. We don't just wear them on the videos. Like, when we go down to the SOE shop and there's a camera in there, those shirts you guys see, you'll see them in videos a lot of times. When we're out at the farm working, our guys that are out there, they wear that shit. So it does get camera play.
Yeah, when we go to ranges, when we go to the malls,
yeah,
we almost always have a shirt that isn't ours. Sometimes we'll group together and we'll all wear
the
SOE
trade
shirts.
show or something, but it's very rare that we wear one of our own shirts.
Yeah.
You guys send so many shirts in, and man, a lot of them are very nice. And they're just people that we want to do, you know, we want to see do well, shoot steel, and these shirts that Simpson,
It's their bar.
Teaser Chicago, that shit looks awesome in that fucking metallic ink. So we do wear those, we do represent, and we do get you guys, you know, quite a bit of airplay with that, and our employees, you know, walk around town during alumni. There were a lot of fucking shirts out there that you guys had sent that our you know, people were wearing. So, you know, thank you for that. I guess cut that shit off, let them come in and do these dishes. That'll give us about 30 minutes before we stand around for another hour before the gym and do nothing. So we'll talk about going to the gym for an hour in about
I need my, you got to get your mind right, you know? It's all about mindset. You got to think about going to the gym before you go. You can't just jump into it like that.
Who sent these hats?
I don't know. It's on that.
Oh, the Ranger boat guy.
Is that the guy that came in here?
Yeah, big Shrek.
Yeah,
dude.
the big giant dude?
That's what he said. I think he said, yeah, love Shrek.
Oh, okay. Because
Thanks again for the EDC belt.
I called him that,
in a
didn't
moment
I?
of your time. When I lose more weight, 40 pounds so far, I know where I'll get my next one. Included are 2 hats for Colin and Lance. The blue one is for Lance. I think it'll make his eyes pop.
Sweet.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.